Good evening, this is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated, Journato, evening headlines on October 19, 2023. EU warns of child soldiers exploited by drug gangs. The Guardian, roadmap to fight drug trafficking and organized crime. European Commission, drug gangs have infiltrated shipping supply chains, warns Maersk executive. Financial Times, the tsunami just keeps coming, Europe's growing cocaine market. The Guardian, cocaine whack-a-mole, a game Brussels is playing to win. US vetoes UN's call for humanitarian pause and corridors into Gaza. The Guardian, US vetoes UN resolution calling for humanitarian pause in Israel-Hamas war. Al Jazeera English, UN Security Council fails to ease suffering in Gaza. Voice of America, VOA News, US blocks UN's call for humanitarian pause and corridors into Gaza, video. The Guardian, the UK supports Israel's right to self-defense in line with the UN Charter, UK statement at the UN Security Council. Hundreds arrested at Israel-Gaza protest near US Capitol. BBC, Jewish activists arrested at US Congress anti-Israel protest amid Gaza war. Al Jazeera English, Israel-Hamas war, hundreds protest near US Capitol calling for ceasefire. Sky News, hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters arrested in demonstration at US Capitol. The Independent, Jewish activists arrested at US Congress sit-in calling for Gaza ceasefire. Patients operated on without anesthetic in Gaza as WHO runs out of medicine. The Independent, water, matter of life and death, for Gaza after Israeli siege, says UN. Al Jazeera English, a site that will remain. If I live 1,000 years, Palestinians bear witness to hospital blast. Financial Times, Palestinian residents in Gaza face life without essentials. Euronews, Palestinian journalist shows reality of searching for water in Gaza. Biden says aid could enter Gaza on Friday as Israel and Egypt give go-ahead. The Guardian, Gaza aid, 20 trucks expected to enter through Egypt border crossing, BBC News. BBC News, families of Israeli hostages express fury over humanitarian aid to Gaza. The Telegraph, Biden leaves Tel Aviv after Israeli cabinet agrees to Gaza aid request, Al Jazeera newsfeed. Al Jazeera English, Israel-Hamas war live, Egypt-Gaza crossing to open for aid on Friday at the earliest, says White House. What is happening at the Gaza-Egypt border? Sky News, why doesn't Egypt open the Rafah border crossing to Gaza? DW News. DW News, how will Egypt handle Gaza? Financial Times, agrees to reopen Rafah border crossing with Gaza amid Israel vs Hamas conflict, News 18, N18V. CNN News 18, explained, why Egypt's Rafah border crossing matters in Israel-Hamas war. EU ministers call for tougher immigration policies after Islamist attacks. Mannequin arrested after Warsaw shop burglary. Israel's long history of hostage negotiations, and how it's dealt with them in the past. Sky News, Israel-Palestine war, what propelled Hamas to take around 200 Israelis hostage in Gaza. WION, the best of bad options for recovering the hostages. Emotional and proud, voters on Poland's landmark election results. The Guardian, record number of female MPs in Poland's parliament after elections. Notes from Poland, Poland's arts community cautiously optimistic as right-wing ruling party fails to win majority. Art newspaper, in Poland, we've gone from semi-dictatorship to democracy in days. Isn't that great? The Guardian, liberal democracy strikes back in Poland. Russian-American journalist detained in Russia for violating foreign agents' law. The Guardian, Russian-American journalist Alsu Kermasheva detained in Kazan. BBC, Russia charges journalist Alsu Kermasheva with being unregistered foreign agent. Sky News, Moscow detains US journalist for targeted collection of military information. Financial Times, US. Journalist working for Radio Free Europe detained in Russia. Threats fly as Jim Jordan's bid to be US House Speaker turns ugly. BBC, politician receives death threats after voting against fellow Republican. Sky News, the kamikazes on America's Capitol Hill. Financial Times, Jordan for Speaker isn't happening. A temporary speaker could break the deadlock. Russia-Ukraine war at a glance. What we know on day 603 of the invasion. The Guardian, Russian missile attacks kill 10 Ukrainian civilians as Kyiv advances in south. The Independent, 4 Ukrainian regions targeted by Russian strikes, Kyiv says. Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, Russia-Ukraine War, list of key events, day 602. Al Jazeera English. Satellite images show damage to Russian-occupied Berdyansk airfield after Ukraine's October 17 strike. Aid delivery waits to enter Gaza from Egypt at Rafah crossing. BBC, Egypt's Rafah crossing. When will aid begin to enter Gaza and why has it been closed? The Guardian, Khan Yunis homes in southern Gaza leveled by deadly Israeli bombardment. Al Jazeera English. Rafah border crossing between Egypt and Gaza to open on Friday. Euronews. Hostilities in the Gaza Strip and Israel, flash update number 12 occupied Palestinian territory. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.